In my opinion, Ping have always been known as the people's golf brand, as the golf brand which thinks more about forgiveness than any other. And today's video is no different. Guys, introducing the brand new Ping G430 7 Hybrid. Yes, you heard that right, 7 Hybrid. This bad boy weighs in at 34 degrees of loft. We also have an adjustable hosel on there as well. It is jam-packed full of all the technology which the Ping G430 range does offer, with one fairly large difference. This could get quite interesting. And you see guys, I almost have a couple of issues with this. Is it a little bit gimmicky? Is it just out there to think, oh, you know what, if I have a 7 Hybrid in the bag, it's going to go miles and miles. It's more lofted like a 5 Hybrid anyway. It's actually not. At 34 degrees of loft, that is the standard loft of around, let's be fair, a fairly traditional 7-iron loft. So is this a 7-iron replacement? Is it a club that you can hit off the tee? Is it a club that's going to go miles and miles and really, really sky high? Or is it all just a little bit of a gimmick to get you thinking more about the Ping G430 range? That's what we're going to answer in today's video. We're out here on the golf course testing this golf club off the tee into greens everywhere you would want to play it. And I've also been in the studio testing this against a very similar lofted 7-iron. And the differences are quite shocking, so don't go anywhere. You see, one of the big things that I would want from this is I would want ease of use. I would want it to be fairly simple to use. Okay, that was a bit of a Zach Johnson moment. I'm just going to go and get that. Okay, I've honestly got no idea what happened there. I've never done that before. But it is quite shocking how this thing does look down at address. I will put a picture of it on screen now. It just looks very... I'm almost struggling to think of a word for it, which my job as a reviewer, that's not very good. But I must say it's the first time I've been lost for words or an opinion. And it's strange because there's that much loft on this. It looks like... I don't know how to attack it. I don't know whether to hit it like an iron. Do I hit it like a hybrid? Do I try and compress that ball into the turf, take a little bit of dynamic loft off, or do I sweep it like I would a normal hybrid? Again, that's what we're going to test today. Right, let's hit the ball properly this time. I mean, straight away, that is like the easiest golf club I think I've ever hit in my life. That's really, really nice ball flight down the fairway. Lovely and high. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see my dad test this. My dad's nearly 80 years old, he's nearly a 30 handicap now, and this for him, once cleaned up, could be a game changer from 120, 130, 140 yards. Just because it's a hybrid doesn't mean it always has to be a 200-yard powerhouse, even though it's got the carbon fly wrap, even though it's got the face wrap, and even though it's got that weight at the back pushing centre of gravity back to enhance MOI. Look at that sole as well, a really nice big flat sole. This could be a dream, say if you struggle with chipping as well, you know, almost like the Ping Chipper, again, a club which Ping have designed for mid to high handicap golfers to make sure that you can play slightly better golf. Ping's motto has always been play your best. We didn't take much of a divot there. Let's try and create a similar swing. Exactly the same. Could say it's a touch higher. I'm going to be really interested to see just how consistent these ball flights are, because if these 3 shots are very, very consistent, it could be a club that more people think about. Maybe it's not a gimmick, maybe it's a club that could help you in certain areas, and that for me is what buying golf clubs is all about. What do you need to improve on? What will help you lower your scores? What will help you achieve your goals? If that's 34-degree hybrid, then I've got no problem with that. Right, those two are pretty close. Let's go one more. Remember, so I've got a perfect lie here. I've not teed it up. I'm just sending it down that fairway. A little bit high, a little bit further right. It felt like a similar swing, maybe just cut across that a little bit too much. Very similar distance. Let's get down there, let's see where they are. Remember guys, I have jumped in the studio, I've tested this against a 7-iron with a very similar loft on it. Don't go anywhere. We're going to test it out the rough, we're going to test it for versatility, and we're going to test it to see if it really is a gimmick or if it could have a place in more people's golf bag. And now you see, a really interesting factor for me when testing golf clubs like this is where do you stop? Where exactly do you think, you know what, I'm going to have irons in there, I'm not having a hybrid, I'm not having a really, really forgiving big iron, I'm just going to have a normal 7-iron, maybe a cavity back 7-iron, maybe a hollow bodied 7-iron, but certainly not a hybrid 7-iron, certainly not a hybrid replacement, because I'm going to look silly, all my friends are going to laugh at me, and that's the last thing I want. Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue here. If your friends are laughing at you, but you're winning every week, you should probably be the one laughing. So as we get down here guys, you can see the first two were very, very close together, exactly the same distance. pretty similar dispersion. I'm not going to split hairs over that. And the last one was a little bit higher, a little bit further right. It's still on the fairway, funnily enough, and it's a very similar distance. Now, interestingly, I'm not really testing this for a club off the tee. I just wanted a nice flat lie to hit some shots with, and the fact that that's so consistent, the fact they've all gone pretty much the same yardage is really, really helpful for me. Let's hit some balls into this green, out the fairway and out the rough. Let's see just how this club does perform. I can't wait for you guys to see how this compares to a standard 7-iron, because it actually blew my mind. I didn't expect this at all. So quite a difficult shot we have here. Bunker short left, flag right at the back on a 2-tier green, and we have a couple of different lies. So I have one in the fairway, one in the semi-rough, and one in the thick rough here. How is this ball going to react when we put a 34-degree 7 wood, or 7 hybrid should I say, to this golf ball? And we'll go out the rough first. The reason why I got mixed up there thinking of 7 wood instead of 7 hybrid is because I'm thinking of the 11 woods, I'm thinking of the 7 woods, I'm thinking of the heaven woods. That rhymed and I really didn't mean it to, but maybe there's a talent I didn't know about that. But as I said earlier in this video, when do we call that a day? When do we think, you know what, how much loft do you need on a wood? And then it makes me think about my dad. And I think if there's a wood out there that can make my dad play a little bit better, make him enjoy it a little bit more, I am absolutely all for it. Remember to subscribe if you want to see him take on these golf clubs. But for now, it's got me thinking of, could it potentially improve my game? We're 160 yards out, we are into the wind, obviously out the rough. Do I attack this more like an iron now? I feel like I have to do. I feel like I have to get steeper with it, use that leading edge, which is going to help me here. That's one of the benefits of having so much loft on a hybrid. Look how sharp that leading edge is. That's really going to dig in behind the ball. And as long as I get pretty much ball then turf, it should really help. So I wouldn't fancy an iron out of here, funnily enough, but this, oh, check that out for a ball flight. Look at that. That's front right of the green. It's actually spun back. That is spinning back off the green. That's certainly something which I didn't expect at all. But then again, the numbers are quite shocking with this, so make sure you don't go anywhere, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. The turf interaction there is everything I wanted. The ball was here, I hit the ball, then I hit the turf down, and then the ball flew up with a nice high fade. And it's actually rolled all the way off the front there, as you can see. It did pitch on the green, it has come back, which to me says there is an element of control with this golf club, which maybe people wouldn't expect. Yes, we're into the wind, but it's not bounded forwards. Obviously the landing angle has a huge part to say in that. I am finding that I'm cutting it a bit, so I'm going to aim just a little bit left here. I don't feel like I have to get as steep on this one. Maybe just hopefully a nice straighter ball flight. That is at it. It's still cutting a bit though, just that tiny bit, and if I know to get that, again, that's landed safely on the green. I'm actually quite happy with that. I'm going to take that all day. Now, what about from the fairway? You see, if I know this ball's going to cut in the air, I don't particularly mind. It's not a club that's going to be the most versatile, the most workable. So I'm going to aim left of the green. I'm going to try and hit down on it a bit more, try and get it to launch a touch lower, see if we can get back there to the flag. Like that. Again, it's cutting, but that is all over it. Get up. Oh, that's just finished short. Very interesting results there. I felt like it was actually easier to hit out of the rough, which is astonishing. Guys, let's jump in the studio. Let's have a look at how this club does perform 4 numbers against a modern day 7-iron, and then make sure you jump back out here, because I'm going to show you a little secret hack that could really help you if you decided to go with one of these clubs. So guys, rather than using a 7-iron, I actually used the Callaway Paradigm 8-iron, because that's in at 33 degrees, which is obviously very similar to the 34 degrees that we have on this hybrid. And to be fair, I hit quite a few 8-irons here. I hit them really well. I had them on a piece of string. This video obviously isn't really about the 8-irons, but I wanted to get a really good comparison about probably not quite a player's iron, but not quite a game improvement iron, just an everyday iron off the market at the moment with that kind of loft, and what kind of trajectory you're going to get, what kind of spin rate you're going to get, and obviously what kind of ball speed you're going to get as well. I was very consistent with this. I was hoping I might be the same with the Ping hybrid. The first shot wasn't that great. You can see it kind of went off into that bunker on the right hand side. I was probably just adjusting to how to actually hit this club. There's not a lot of offset on there, which doesn't really help, but as soon as you get used to it, as you can see, you start to hit them closer to that line, and the numbers were actually really interesting. I really enjoyed the trajectory of this. I really enjoyed the peak high. Everything about it is just easy to launch. Look at that, that is straight down the line, fading off again. I actually faded quite a few on the golf course as well, so probably something to note if you are in the market for this club. Looking at the numbers, Very much more ball speed, that's probably going to be down to the shaft length, but you can see launch angle pretty similar to a standard 8 iron. Spin at 6,788, nearly 7,000. Now I would expect that spin on a bladed 7 iron. That is an incredible amount of spin, which is maybe why we struggled into the wind there, but as you can see, pretty good distance, a little bit more than the Paradigm 8 iron of a similar loft. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I had no idea just how those numbers were going to go in comparison to a modern day 7 iron. And I'm actually quite impressed with those spin rates. The distance for me almost doesn't matter. For me, this is a club where you find out what distance it goes and it is just your club from there when you're not feeling very confident. But a little thing that can help you here, it's almost like a little life hack. If you get a hybrid with lots of loft on it, this could be a lovely little club for shots like this around the greens that you're maybe not so comfortable with. The reason for that is we've all heard of bounce on a wedge. This hybrid has more bounce than any wedge you've ever seen, unless the maybe kind of illegal ones you see on Amazon. But it can make these shots so much easier, where these are supposed to be the kind of easy, simple shots in golf. No one wants to struggle with these shots. You can see just how simple this is making these little bump and runs. The fact that it's got so much bounce on it, the fact it's got loft on it to pop it up, it really does just make it a little bit easier. That's got to go in if it doesn't hit that ball. To play these shots if you struggle with them. Obviously higher handicap golfers are more likely to struggle from this distance, potentially making this club not a gimmick at all, but a genius idea from Ping. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed that. Smash that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this and with my high handicap dad. But apart from that, I'll see you all right on this channel at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.